Hello, listeners. Welcome to season 2 of the Masters Decoded podcast. I am Manish Merchant, the chief decoder. I want to thank you for the overwhelming response to season 1. Your feedback and encouragement led me to bring you season 2 of the Masters Decoded. The season will tap into how technology, artificial intelligence, and other socio-economic factors have impacted my guests' careers or passions. My next guest on today's podcast is Rustom Patel. Rustom is 8 times Indian national champion and 275 trophies at his prized possessions that reflect his love and passion for two-wheelers and motocross as a sport. He did take a break from sport precisely 14 years ago, and last month he came back to drag race championship and knocked it out of the park. He started racing in 1985, and at that time, he was the youngest in India and the second youngest in the world. I don't want to spoil the fun, and let me get on with the interview. Hi, Rustam. Welcome to Masters Decoded podcast series season 2.
Hello.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Rustam, let me get this out of the gate first. Congratulations on the new win. And I believe it's a special win because it's after a long time. You actually retired and you came back and you
Yeah,
have
after
this.
14 years.
So talk about this win. What was the win all about? Let people hear what you actually do.
Thank you. Perfect. Well, actually, I've raced all my life. I started racing in 1985 when I was only 6 years of age.
Wow.
Considering myself as the youngest kid by far doing a official Indian governing body FMSCI event at the age of 6 that declared me the youngest rider in India and the second youngest in the world to
Wow.
officially do a motocross race back then in 1985.
Okay.
So after that, there was no stopping. I was endorsed for Britannia Glucose D brand ambassador biscuit for young champs and all of that in those days, and there was no stopping. Then I won 8 Indian national titles and got 3 international individual wins for Team India.
Wow.
And yep, and then in 2005 I got married,
Okay.
and in 2008 I became a papa.
Nice.
So in 2007, and obviously I was in my peak in 2005, 6, 7. I ruled the entire competition in India, but obviously the marriage responsibilities came up on my shoulder
Hmm.
because before that I was a bachelor, so I could do what I want. I could give in time for practice, training, but then once you get married, it gets a little difficult. And my wife and me, we started planning for a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's where in 2007 I became national champion in Bangalore, and I knew that I was going to be a papa because my wife was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And on 2007, after becoming declaring national champion in Bangalore, I had major tears in my eyes. I almost broke down on the stage and I declared myself as retired because obviously I was going to be a new dad and I had more responsibilities on my shoulder. And any sport needs a full 100% commitment when it comes to training.
Mm-hmm.
And once you become a dad, you don't have the time to get with your kid and your training. So we unanimously decided that yes, I should retire. So
Okay.
I retired in 2007, and then I became the head coach of Team India, and I never raced for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this what I'm going to tell you, you're not going to believe it yourself because this is something really cool that happened in my life.
Okay.
My house is known as Rusty's Den. Basically, it's a party house. So,
Okay.
straight from 2007 to 2021, I had not done a single race because I had retired officially.
Okay.
So there was this Ambi Valley drag race happening, which I used to go to see. I used to
Okay.
only go to watch the event.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to like the event. I used to be like, wow, yeah, super bikes, super cars, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Hayabusas, and the topmost bikes in the country and the topmost riders in the country were there.
Nice.
And I come from a background that is dirt track and motocross. So we don't do high speeds.
Uh-huh.
And drags are like super high speeds. They go like 240, 260, 280 kilometers an hour in that 400-meter strip.
Wow.
So apparently 14th of February was the drag meet straight after Corona. So straight after a gap of 1.5, 2 years, because last was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 week prior to that, there was a friend of mine, Porush, who's a rock star. He used to come to my house to play the guitar.
Okay.
So he was playing the guitar, everybody was singing, and then it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, and he's like, "Bro, I need to leave because I'm taking part in the drag race." That is what the guitarist told me.
Okay.
So I winked at my friend and I was joking.
Okay.
And in a joke, I told him that, do you know something? In a drag race, one bike can be shared by two riders officially.
Oh.
So yeah, that's the rule,
Okay.
because you go one by one.
Yeah.
So uh, uh, I swear to God, I was not serious because I had retired in 2007,
Right.
and this we are talking about 2 weeks ago. I was joking and I told him that, hey Paru, can I share your Ducati with you?
Wow.
So and trust me, I was joking because I was winking at my other friends.
Uh-huh.
The guy who had the Ducati, he became really serious. He's like, Rustam sir, are you seriously going to ride my bike? Are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm serious. I will ride the bike and all that. And trust me, I was still joking.
Okay.
Next day morning, 10 a.m., there is somebody ringing my doorbell.
Okay.
It is Porush with the entry form and the FMSCI license form, because you compulsory need the government FMSCI
Mm-hmm.
license to race the All India governing body event.
Okay.
And I was shocked. I was like, dude, I was joking. I was
Okay.
not serious. I have retired 14 years ago. I don't race anymore. He's like, I don't know, sir. Last night in front of everybody, you said you will share the bike with me and you will ride. Please, it'll be an honor if you can ride my bike in the drag.
Hmm.
And the poor guy had come with the form and everything. So it
Okay.
melted my heart. I don't know what came into me. We both started filling our forms. We both went to the doctor because you need the doctor's certificate that are you fit enough to ride the All India race.
Okay.
So we got the blood test done, blood reports, doctor stamps, and all of that. And this genuinely became a serious affair.
Hmm.
Like, I was joking when he was guitaring that I will
Yeah.
ride, and this became really serious. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So we had exactly 5 days in hand. So he started introducing me to the team owner, that is Mr. Narayan,
Mm-hmm.
and Piyush, the other rider, and Porosh. And we had three more mechanics. It's called Breakout Moto.
Okay.
So I did not know anything about all this. So they all came to my house. They all met me. They're like, "Sir, we've seen your trophies in your house. It's so encouraging. It's so nice. You're riding for a team." And trust me, that majak masti became a genuine, serious topic then. Like,
Okay.
like we all started deciding we're going to stay in Ambi Valley. This is the expense and blah blah blah. Okay, since Rustam sir has not ridden the bike at all, we need to give him practice now.
Okay.
We are living in a country, India, which
Right.
is a very cricket biased country. I'm being very honest with you. Out of 100 government grounds, 99 will be allotted to cricket.
Agreed.
Okay, so we don't have a specific drag strip to go and practice. There is nothing like a practice place in India for drag,
Mm-hmm.
uh, except for Ambi Valley, which if you have to book, you have to pay only 30 lakh rupees, which none of us have.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, and none of the boys can afford 30 lakhs just to practice. Okay,
Right.
and that makes no sense. Even you know that.
Yep.
So we used to decide that let's go to Vikroli at 2 a.m. in the morning, and there are these service roads at Godrej, Vikroli, going towards
Mm-hmm.
Powai.
Mm-hmm.
So can you believe it? We were actually doing our drag practice starts and all of that at 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. every single night.
Wow.
And it genuinely became a serious affair because I started coaching the boys. Like
Y-
we were a three-rider team:
okay.
Paurush, Piyush, and Rustam.
So you
Okay,
started coaching, you've not ridden and you've never done a drag race and you've started
uh,
coaching.
yeah, but I'm a racer too, right?
Yes, yes.
So yeah, but I've never done drag racing. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but a racer is always a racer. I've raced all my life, so and I used to be the master of my start. So I
Right.
used to be very good at starting. So these boys were like, "Sir, it will be a privilege to learn under you, to train under you." So I used to train them, and at the same time, I was also practicing because, boss, if I'm giving a comeback after 14 years, trust me, that is a ridiculously long time. That's a decade, more
Yep.
than a decade.
Yep.
And trust me, riding with boys half your age. I'm 42, and I had boys who were 23, 25, 21, who were like young, fitter to me, stronger to me, and they
Mm-hmm.
all were there from all over the country: Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolhapur, Pune, Goa, Nasik, everywhere. It was an all-India event.
Wow.
So we became really serious. We went there and we saw 320 bikes participate.
Oh wow. That
Yeah,
huge? Oh.
that is freaking huge. Anything more than 200 is huge in India. This was 320 bikes had taken part. And we are just two bikes, three riders, one team owner, three mechanics. A small Chotu team.
Hmm.
Okay. And we had also made our colors and all that. Like it genuinely from Masti Mazak, it became all serious. Okay. Like genuinely serious.
Nice.
And so we went there, we saw the entry list and all of that. We were staying in Ambi Valley for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I started coaching them and teaching them at Ambi Valley stretches also because Ambi Valley is really huge. So we got one good stretch where no people were walking, talking. We were practicing over there.
Hmm.
And there comes the race day, that is Sunday. Just take God's name, my father's name. My father's my hero. I lost him in 2013, eight
Sorry
years
to hear
ago.
that.
Yeah, and I could feel that my father was there during my run. And
Mm-hmm.
every single time I sit on the bike, I touch the feet of the bike, I touch the feet, I touch the tire, I touch the handlebar, and then after my prayers, I sit on the bike. And I just spoke to myself one thing is that Rustam, you have never taken part in a race just to participate. You have always participated only to win. That
Hmm.
is my motto. I don't believe in taking part only for participation. All that sounds good only on the mic. To talk that it's more important to participate. Yes, it is. But for me, if I enter any competition, I participate to win, boss. I'm being very honest.
Hmm.
So I went on the start line. I did my prayers and I said, Baba, I'm riding after 14 years and I have never done such big top speeds of 240 and 260 because I come from a motocross and dirt track background where
Yep.
our top speeds will not be more than 70.
Hmm.
So from 70 going to straight 270 is a different ball game only.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like ridiculous. So it's like ridiculously fast, and these Ducatis are beasts.
Yeah.
So I just spoke to myself. I said, I know who I am. I know I can still do it after 14 years. And the event starts, and a drag is basically two riders leave at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, the guy who was next to me was last year's winner.
Oh wow. So
So
your
to
luck
add to
was
my
really with you.
pressure, yeah, to add to my pressure, he was there right next to me. And since he's a drag star and he's been dragging since the last 12 years and all that, he had a huge set of crowd cheering him. Okay.
Okay.
So a lot of things were demotivating me, like the last year's winner, people are taking his name and all that. And like, I've come after 14 years and all that. I'm like, chilled. I'm like, okay, let the timing do the talking, let the racing do the talking.
Hmm.
And the race starts with three yellow lights.
Right.
That's called the Christmas tree, and then green. So
Hmm.
as soon as you see the green, you have to leave as soon as possible to finish the 400-meter run. That is a quarter mile.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the green light that I saw, I just bounced over there. And trust me, the last year winner was not even in my freaking frame.
Wow.
I beat him hollow in capital letters. And on the finish line, and on the finish line, that guy comes to me. He's like, dude, who are you? I'm like, you'll come to know my name very soon, brother. Like, I literally smoked him by a second. I was one full second faster than the last year's winner. And
Wow.
trust me, 1 second in drag is
Huge.
huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Because when you're touching 240, 260s,
Yeah.
we are fighting in micro fractions, milli fractions.
Yeah.
So I beat the competition by more than 1 second. In fact, I was the only one in 11 seconds finishing the 400 meters. The rest of the pack, that is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, were all 12, 13 plus.
Wow.
I was the only one in 11.
So you get basically measured on the time and that's how you win it, or you have to
Yes.
keep competing with others It's like an
No, no,
elimination process.
no. The fastest time wins.
Okay.
And since they have only two runs, as in two lanes,
Right.
you cannot have more than two Ferraris or two Hayabusas or anything that's two.
Right.
You cannot have more than two because there are only two lanes.
Okay.
So if there are like 20 entries in your category,
Mm-hmm.
so 10 start from the left lane, 10 start from the right lane.
Okay.
And then you drag with each other. But no matter whoever you drag with, even if the guy who lost with me,
Mm-hmm.
he still came third.
Okay.
So it's the
Because of his
fastest
time.
timing. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of his timing. Because of
Mm.
his timing. So it was an unbelievable feeling. I'll tell you why.
Mm.
Honestly, I did not even know, because when you finish the 400-meter run, you are very far away. And you can't see the timing board. The timing board is where you started the event.
Oh.
So I didn't know that I must have clocked the quickest time and all that. And then you take a U-turn and you go back to the
Yep.
start line from where you started. That's
Mm-hmm.
how the drag races happen. So I took a U-turn and I was going back, and I see my team boys jumping all over with glory and screaming. And I'm like, क्या हो गया यार? मतलब ऐसा तो क्या हो गया? Like they are screaming. एक तो I'm riding after bloody 14 years. साला,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, are they happy that I just finished third or something? Like, obviously a team will be happy if you just
Mm-hmm.
cannot be on the podium itself.
Yep.
So I never expected myself to be first. So when I went there, they all started jumping on me, hitting me on my helmet, and like you know how it is when your
Yeah. Yeah.
team,
Yeah. Yeah.
team, and the owner picked me up. I can't believe it. He's got an operated foot.
Okay.
Okay, he's not supposed to put weight on his foot. He totally forgot that he's not supposed to put weight. I have a snap, and that's like a award-winning snap. He has picked me up in the air. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all caught on camera also, because the auto car was there and other two news channels were there. They all caught that moment of the owner picking up the rider after the win.
Okay.
And they all are like, Are Rusty sir, Rusty. They call me Rusty sir.
Okay.
Yeah, usually everybody calls me Rustom sir, but my others also call me Rusty sir. So they're like, Rusty sir, आप जीत गए, first time, first time. I
Mm.
said, no ways. He's like, sir, सच्ची आपने अकेले ने 11 में मारा, बाकी everybody else was 12 seconds plus.
Wow.
Sir, great, great. And I could not believe my eyes. I like, till I don't see the, what do you call that, list,
Yep.
the,
The
the,
timeless.
yeah, the results list. The
Hmm.
results list comes immediately, because they all were sitting with laptops and
Hmm.
printouts and all of that. So immediately after the race, in 5 minutes, they used to hang it on the notice board.
Wow.
I said, till I don't see my name on the notice board, I am still not celebrating. Though others were congratulating me and all. Are sir, you have only won it. We know, we know. Once that list came and I saw Rustom Patel first place, oh my God, I was genuinely the happiest man in the world, because I was like, are you serious? I've never done drag racing. I ride
Hmm.
after 14 years and I beat the competition hollow.
Nice.
and
Beautiful.
and like it's like a genuine feeling that has come into me. And just yesterday, the organizer of the Ambi Valley has declared a national championship of 3 rounds. That is
Okay.
Hyderabad, Bangalore, and last round obviously Ambi Valley. It's
Okay.
a 3 round national championship happening in October, November, December.
Okay. And
So now with this win, it has encouraged me to
okay.
get back on my double fitness, to get back with my practice, and to take the entire national championship very seriously, because we have 8 months in hand to work on the bike, 8 months in hand to work on our fitness, 8 months in hand to work on your techniques and
Hmm.
practice. So I'm all geared up now, and I think I still have it in me.
Nice.
I know I'm 42. I know I've retired 14 years ago, but I think I can still do it.
Beautiful. And the way you just recited the story, I could close my eyes, picture the entire episode, and see it live in front of my eyes, I would
Yes,
say, Rustam.
thank you.
So, thank you for, even though I'm a biker too, but I'm a
Okay.
woozy biker, I would say. I don't ride that fast. I would never
Okay.
dare to do that. I've had a series of episodes which, today, even if I drive a low rider, so I drive it easy. But biking and that speed and the adrenaline rush for that speed is always there in me. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you for walking me through that. But one thing which I caught few things which I really want to double click on. you said 1985 at the age of 6, and correct me if I'm wrong, you come from a family of racers. It's not
Yes,
just you, but your first cousins, your father,
everybody.
it was called the uh,
Patel
Patel
racing
racer.
family.
Yes. So talk a little bit about how did that 6-year-old child who would probably be playing cricket or probably playing with their friends got into biking at that age? Like, what got in you, or who motivated you to get into that?
Okay, great. That's a fantastic question by you. So basically, as they say, a doctor is born in a doctor's family, an engineer is born in an engineer's family.
Mm-hmm.
So the same way, a rider is born in a rider's family.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, it's absolutely a genuine reason. Since the time you are born, all you see is your parents and your cousins going every Sunday,
Yep.
wearing a helmet, wearing the boots, and going for a freaking ride, going for a freaking race.
Hmm.
And I am born, brought up in that family full of tools, petrol, bikes, running around, making the bikes, modifying the bikes back in the 80s when the technology was not even there.
Wow.
So when it is like when you're born and you see, and we are three brothers, that is R and Z, that is Rustom, Neville, Zubin. We are the proud owners of the number one garage in Maharashtra. We
Hmm.
do 150 vehicles a day.
Wow.
And yeah, so we are three brothers. So I'm the youngest, okay?
Okay.
Above me is Zubin and Neville. Above me are my cousins Kaizad and Yazdi.
Yep.
And then it's Percy and Firdosh. So every freaking cousin of mine and brother of mine, they're all elder to me. I'm
Okay.
the youngest kid. Okay. And I see all six of them race since the time I was born.
Wow.
So what do you expect me to be? Like, come on, my entire family, my dad, my kaka, they all are champions of India.
Wow.
And I have grown up looking at my father, my kaka, my eldest cousin Kaizad beat the shit out of everybody in racing. So I have always been that teeny little 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy wearing these short pants, chappals, and going for every race, cheering my brothers. Obviously, I was 3 and 4. I would not ride, but I used to ride a cycle.
Yep.
So one day, when I was 6 years old, I was coming back. I still remember. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking to you. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm like full goosebumps are on because I'm feeling it. Okay, so I was coming back from my school. I was in St. Peter's High School, which
Okay.
was just 2 minutes away from my house, walking
Yep.
distance. And I come to the garage. We used to always meet at garage. I see all my cousins lined up and I am wearing a school tie. I've just come tired from school. I'm like, hey guys, what's up? What's happening? And then I see my kaka and my dad. I'm like, dude, there is something cooking over here, boss.
Okay.
I don't know why have they all lined up. So they are like gathered me. They're like, okay, Rustam, come here. Just pick up this bike cover. I'm like, why? What happened? Arey, just pick up the cover, no?
Hmm.
I pick up the cover and there is a mini kids bike called Dandy 39cc.
Wow.
My kaka had bought for only me back in the 1980s
Wow.
so that Rustam can also race and the family gets complete with all kids racing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I picked up the parking cover
Hmm.
and there was this red color shining bike, Dandy 39cc made in Japan.
Hmm.
Okay. I look at the bike and all the cousins started clapping. Yay! And all that, to celebrate
Yep.
and all that.
Yep.
And I was only 6 years old. I didn't even know what was happening. I'm like, wow, what a cute bike and all. They're like, Rusty, it is your bike. I'm like, but I
Okay.
don't even know how to ride it. They're like, Arey, don't worry. You have riding in your blood. You are born in a Patel family. We will teach you. So my eldest cousin,
Okay.
okay, he showed me what is the accelerator, what is the brake, what is what, and all. He showed me all the technicalities in the bike. Then he told me,
Hmm.
okay, now wear the helmet. Okay, back in the days in the 80s, there was not much of traffic in Bombay.
Agreed.
Okay, so it was quite khali khali, and where we had a garage now, it
Uh-huh.
was quite empty. So he told me the features, what's the brake, what's the throttle, and all that. And of course, I also had the knowledge looking at my brother's riding, so I knew what a throttle and all that was.
Yep.
And Kaizad started teaching me, like how you teach a kid how to ride a cycle, like
Yeah.
holding it from the back. So he was catching me, and I was like, Kaizad, please don't leave, please don't leave. And it was my first day, you know. I'm like, please don't leave. He's like, no, no, you just give throttle, just give throttle. And he must have taught me for somewhere close to 5 to 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes, he was teaching me. Suddenly, after 10 minutes, I try to talk to Kaizad. I don't get a reply.
Wow.
You know what had he done?
He had left you.
He had left me. He left me without telling me. And I was riding. I'm like, how come Kaizad is not replying to me? I turned there and I don't see Kaizad. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm riding this bike alone. So I think it was just inbuilt in me to be a racer, to be a rider.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know of any 6-year-old kid who can just learn how to ride a motorcycle in 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. So this was the entire story. How I actually sat on a racing machine first time in my life.
Okay.
And in the next 15 days, there was a race in the Brabourne Stadium, the NSCI.
Mm-hmm.
We have actually done official motocross in that stadium. Can you believe that? The cricket ground?
Wow.
Yeah, back in the 80s, they had given it for the Indian Championship
Okay.
round. And that was the first time in my life. 3rd of May 1985, Rustom Patel was declared as the youngest kid rider in India and second youngest in the world. And I still remember I had not won the race because obviously the class said kids under 16 and I was 6. So there were much bigger guys. And forget the bigger guys, I had all my brothers only on the start line. Right. On my right was Zubin, on my left was Neville, on the other side was Kaizad, Yazdi, Parsi, Pinosh. Like 7 were Patels on the start line,
Okay.
and the other 7 to 8 guys were other people.
Okay.
Yeah, and I still remember I finished 9th or 10th.
Okay.
I also remember falling down twice.
Wow.
And I also remember my father coming running to me and telling me, नहीं नहीं दिकरा तने रेस फिनिश करवानी छे चल चल चल. We are Parsis, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we talk in Gujarati.
Yeah.
And I still remember as a kid, you know what was the most scariest part for me? Every time, I still remember, every time I used to go over a jump now, boss, I could only see the sky.
Wow.
Yeah. So just imagine you're a 6-year-old teeny kid who's never ridden a bike in his life. He straight entered the race. Okay. And he goes for this 7 to 8 foot jump. Okay. Where obviously I was not jumping when I was a kid.
Yep.
Okay. But every time I went over the jump, all I could see is the sky. And then when the tip of the jump is over, then I could only see the ground. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like the roller coaster feeling?
Yep.
Where you go up, you look
Yeah,
at the sky,
yeah.
and then the roller coaster goes down.
Yeah.
So I had that feeling on every single jump. And I still remember back in the days we were
you
not
scared of
very-
heights?
Not really.
Okay.
But it was quite a weird thing for me not to see the ground.
Yeah.
At
As a
the age
kid,
of
yes,
6.
I can
You can
imagine.
imagine you're a 6-year-old kid, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're just going over a hill and coming down the hill. So
Yeah.
it's like pretty scary for a kid. But then I did it once, twice, and then I got used to it. And I still remember back in the days, we were not very fortunate to get the correct helmet, the correct goggles, the correct gloves, the boots, and all. Now, though, obviously, the kids are bloody so lucky. They're getting to wear the best material in the world and the safest.
Yeah.
So I still remember there was no size of my helmet that was there, and there was no proper size of a goggles that was there.
Wow.
So every single time when I used to go up the jump and come down the jump,
Yeah.
the helmet was so bloody loose that it used to come on my face.
Okay.
So every single time after the jump, I used to go on the left, park my bike, take my helmet, put it up again, see the track, and then ride again.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like because in India we were not fortunate to get kids size helmet.
We never considered at that age kids will ride a bike.
Yeah, exactly my point. Nobody considered that a 6-year-old would race. So there was no production for kids, like nothing.
Yeah.
And even the boots that I was wearing, we had to go to our nearest cobbler and
Hmm.
tell him, भैया इतना लंबा वो jockey लोग पहनता है वैसा जूता बना के दो. And it was all handmade, stitched, and all that. Oh my God, those innocent, loving days. I can never forget the 80s. Trust me. It was like,
Beautiful.
even though we looked like jokers, maybe wearing that stuff, but then that was the only thing that hit our head. Like, what else can you do for a 6-year-old kid? You don't get anything that he can wear
Hmm.
in the shops.
Hmm.
So we had to do. I still remember I'd worn jeans, I'd worn
Okay.
cricketers pads, and I'd worn goalkeepers gloves. Can you
Okay.
believe that?
That's it's just you know real also that even though i- nothing stopped you from getting you where you are and your family making it happen for you.
Yeah, man. Seriously,
Yeah.
it's 100% shout out for my entire family.
Yeah.
I'll be biased if I take any one person's name. I would say my entire family has really, really, really worked very hard on me,
Hmm.
and they have given all they had, not only for me, yeah, but it
Yeah.
was for all the kids.
Yep.
Even for Zubin, Neville, they did
Yep.
everything for Kaizad, Yazdi, everything. But you know, they could still manage little sizes for them because they were elder to me.
Yeah.
I was like this really teeny guy, like really small little guy. Like I still remember
Hmm.
the scariest part of my life was to bloody go on the start line with these biggies, yaar, next to me. Like I was 6-year-old Chotu on a Chotu bike,
Yeah.
and all these guys are riding big bikes, yaar.
Yeah.
So I was literally matching their wheel size on the start line. So just imagine you are on a race start line and there are guys who are on your left and right who are 6 times your size.
Hmm.
So,
Has
you
anyone
know,
approached you for a movie, like getting your story scripted?
that's what I'm saying. Immediately after the race,
Hmm.
I still remember. I can't believe it. Sharp memory. There was a ad film agency called Lintas.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
name.
Lentas is still there.
So
Yeah.
Lintas, oh my God, it's quite a big name. That means if it's
Yeah.
still people, you know about it. Yeah. So Lintas came and approached my parents, and back in those days, there was nothing like cell phone, well phone.
Yeah.
There were only landlines.
Yeah.
So they approached my parents and said that we were amazed because the next day newspapers were all over Rustom Patel, youngest rider, taking part. And uh, of course, even though I didn't win the race, but being the youngest rider in India, I got a special, I still remember, special huge medal. And back in those days, 501 rupees. I'm talking
Wow.
about 40 years ago, 500 rupees was a lot of money.
Yes, it was.
It was huge. 500 is like huge money
It was
back in
probably
those
a
days.
hundred multiples, right? At that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I got 501 rupees in an envelope, and I got a huge gold medal by the mayor of Mumbai, Mr. Jangu Nicholson.
Hmm.
And when I went on the stage to take my prize, he himself could not believe that, are you serious? This boy rode a motocross race. And
Yeah.
he picked me up in his arms. He kissed me. I think I still have that snap. He gave me a bouquet. He put that thing on me. And obviously, when the mayor kisses you and picks you up,
Yeah.
it's got to be all over the newspaper.
Definitely.
So within 3-4 days, Lintas called up my parents and said that, listen, we are doing this Britannia biscuit ad, and we would like to make your son the brand ambassador because this is something that India has not seen. A 6-year-old racing
Wow.
back in those days, and that was my biggest break of my life. And that is where slowly the entire country came to know that a 6-year-old rides a motorcycle in a race. And then there was no stopping, my friend. Then Kolhapur, Jaipur, Pune, Bangalore, Delhi, God knows where all we went.
Yep.
We started racing all over the country, called the Patel Racing Family, and we were 7 riders in totality, considering me, Neville, Zubin, Kaizad, Yazdi, Percy Fido, 7 of us.
Wow.
So we used to have a tempo dedicatedly painted back in the 80s called the Patel Racing Family Tempo.
Okay.
So
Nice.
all 7 bikes with a petrol, toolkit, saman, spare parts, you need. See, there's a lot of preparation when you
Yep.
travel.
Yep.
Because if you break a part, where are you going to run in Surat or Baroda or Bangalore to get that part?
Yep.
So you have to be go very well prepared. So that's how the entire journey started with the Patel Racing family. And then there was no stopping. We were just winning all over India, anywhere and everywhere.
Beautiful.
So It's
Business.
like a superb journey of my life.
You spoke about one thing which caught my attention is technology in the bike. And in
Hmm.
1980s, when you would be riding the dandy, the small bike, and I'm sure your parents, your father would have seen that bike, the bigger bikes as well. And now today, like you spoke about Ducati being a beast,
Hmm.
technology in the bikes have evolved. It's got electrics. You can configure your machine through computers. What do you feel about technology evolution? Is it good?
Yeah.
Or
Uh,
do you like the good old days, raw meat, beastie machines?
Well, you have put me in a very difficult position over here. See, honestly, see, you definitely can't compare technology of today and technology of the 80s.
Yeah,
My friend, the amount of features that are there in the bikes is unreal.
agreed,
Is unreal.
agreed.
And the amount of features that were there in our days, but then we had that had its own charm.
Hmm.
Like, if I tell you the truth, you will not believe me. Like, the dandy that I rode didn't have suspension.
Are you kidding me? Meaning,
Yes,
how
that's what
did
I
you
said. You will
motocross then?
not believe
How
me.
did you do motocross without suspension? He-
Exactly my point. That's what I said. You will not believe me. This is what I tell all the press people, and they also didn't believe me till I showed them a freaking video and my paper cutting where there were only two rods in the front.
wow, it must be
Yeah,
giving you a bad hand aches.
everything. Like, I was bouncing all over the place.
Yeah,
Like, why do you think I couldn't jump anything?
wow.
Like, come on, it's the 80s. Like, like, even if you're getting a bike at 80s, it's like a very big deal,
Hmm.
and especially in India.
Yeah,
So it's like unreal. For the only reason is that back in the 80s, people were not aware of anything. They were like, okay, whatever is available, just go for it. Like, that was a raw thingy.
yeah.
Like, even my brothers and all, they were riding Kawasaki KE 175. Now, nobody must have heard of that bike's name also.
I've not heard of it.
Yeah. So you know what bike was that? That was a double suspension bike. Nobody knew what a mono suspension was.
Okay.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those were the raw days, like the really raw days. Like, you had to manage with whatever bike you get. Like, after every jump, I'm sure I used to remember Kaizad coming and complaining that my forearms are getting pumped, and like, obviously you'd never had that kind of suspension.
Yep.
And now people play with suspensions.
Hmm.
Now there are suspension factories,
Yeah.
pro suspension, different factories who are charging you like 1.5 lakhs just to tune the suspension.
Yep.
Yeah, and in those days, in 1.5 lakhs, I think the entire Patel family, all 7 bikes, came in that much money. So yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like man, like, okay, I do miss the old raw days also,
Hmm.
but definitely if you're asking about riding comfort, no chance. Obviously, I would like to go with the new technology
Okay.
and the kind of lovely kid bikes that they have launched. Oh my god! And I keep telling these kids when I coach them, you kids are bloody lucky, and I tell them on their face. And I tell them on their face that if I would get this bike in the 80s, I would have, I swear to God, ridden 100 times better, would have been a much more refined rider if I had the kind of bikes that are now in 2021.
Wow.
The kids are getting mono suspension bikes, reverse suspension bikes. They are getting they are getting some 25 odd bhp motorbikes at a 65cc bike.
Wow.
They have the power, they have the brakes, they have the suspension, they have everything.
Hmm.
They only have to ride. They have the best Alpine Star boots. They have
Hmm.
the best box gear. They have the best helmet that does not come down after every jump like Rustom Patel.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
they are so lucky. And I tell these kids on their face when they do natak, when I tell them give me 7 laps, and they're like, no sir, I can give you only 4 laps. I tell them that, son, trust me, if we in the 80s had got this opportunity of having a track and having practice, we would have ruled the world in a better way.
Yeah.
We never had a track. We never had we only had one tarmac gully. That's it, of 100 meters back in the days, where we could only go straight, take a U-turn, and come back straight. That
Wow.
was the only place where we could practice before a race.
Wow.
What to do? There was no track, there was no
Yep.
facility back in the 80s, there
You
was
didn't have
nothing
the
like
right dirt track. where you could
Nothing,
actually.
nothing, nothing.
Yeah.
So it was all raw. Like
Yeah.
whatever you do is all
On
raw. Like
tarmac, right? It's all tarmac, and
yeah.
tarmac is doesn't give you the raw, because when your tires start skidding and they start rolling in the mud, it's a very different setup. I can tell you, I play
Exactly.
motocross on video games, and I can tell you I suck at it. So I know what you're talking about in real world. I
Yeah.
can't control a bike or any of those machines on a video game. It's difficult to do it in real life. Talking about just speed forwarding, Rustam, on the break which you took, and you spoke about coaching.
Hmm.
The 14 years you didn't get away from biking, I believe. You
Not
were
at all.
still
Not at all.
aligned to it. You were coaching people. You started taking up coaching.
Yeah.
So how do you coach people, and where do you coach, and what's the coaching all about? Is it still about motocross, or you do many other things in the coaching?
Perfect. Perfect question. So yes, I'm the head coach of Ajmera Builders, Ajmera Racing India.
Wow.
This was found 14 years ago with me.
Okay.
And what happened was, sorry, 12 years ago, not 14, 12 years ago.
Hmm.
What happened was that when then I became a papa, I
Yeah.
became daddy in 2008. So my responsibility became double, triple, triple after becoming a father.
Yeah.
So in myself, I spoke to my wife and I told her, okay, I respected your decision because my wife wanted me to stop racing.
Okay.
So I respected your decision, sweetheart. Okay. But at least can I be in touch with the sport? At least can I start my coaching? At least can I share the knowledge that I have with the current people, the current kids?
Hmm.
At least can I make them good? At least can I share my knowledge with them? At least can I coach? And I promise you, I won't race.
Yeah.
So my wife actually agreed for it. Okay, bichara, he's left his racing career for me.
Nice.
Obviously, my wife is also right because racing, you can kill yourself, you can
Yeah.
die, you can. She's seen me breaking my ribs, she's seen me breaking
Ouch.
my elbow,
Okay.
collarbone, she's seen me operated my finger in 6 pieces, and she's
Wow.
seen it all live. So
Okay.
I don't blame the poor wife also in this. Any wife would not like a husband dying young, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, so we unanimously decided. But I said, at least, babe, let me be a coach. At least let me be in touch with my sport because this is the only thing I breathe on.
Hmm.
This is my life. I breathe on racing.
Yep.
So she finally agreed and she was like, okay, go ahead with it. Like, I really can't stop you because all you do is talk about bikes, 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 racing all the time. So yeah, she gave up and she's like, okay, but no racing. I said, okay, I promise you, Sharvin, no racing. I will only coach. So that's how the entire coaching started.
Okay.
So I met this builder, Mr. Atul Ajmera, a very godly person, sweetheart, never shows ego, who he is actually worth, worth whoever he is. He never shows his money power, very down to earth,
Nice.
very godly person. So I told him, and he had heard about me. I said, sir, you have so much of property, so much of land. Can I please start my coaching school over here? Because we don't want young kids dying on the bloody streets. They're doing street racing and they're killing themselves. And not only killing themselves, they're killing other people also.
Yep.
Because my main motto in life, in every interview that I've done more than 65 interviews with TV, press, and radio. I tell everybody boldly, please say no to street racing.
Hmm.
Please always wear a helmet
Safety gear.
that is proper with a ISI mark or a dot one, dot three, or some good quality helmet. In India, our people wear helmet only to save that 300 rupee fine.
Hmm.
That is ridiculous. So that's
Agreed.
what I explained to Atul sir. I told him, sir, I want to change the thinking of people. I want to tell them, boss, if you have the BALLS, you come to track. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. If you have them, no. If you think you're dead, Shana, no, you can reach Worli to Pedder Road in 3 minutes and all that crap that you all do.
Yeah.
Nariman Point to Worli, they want to reach in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said all that is crap because see, you die, we don't have a problem. You can die right now also, we still don't have a problem. But what happens is because of you people, you're killing innocent people who are riding on 60.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know,
Yep.
you're getting what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, you die, you please die right now. We don't mind. We'll party tonight if you die. Yeah. So this is the reason why in all my interviews I always make it a point to talk and say, please say no to racing. Please wear a helmet. So
Okay.
these are the things that I want my voice to reach out to maximum deaf ears.
Hmm.
And this is the only way with my interviews that I keep giving my interviews. This is the only way I try to, echo my voice so that at least my voice can reach a few ears and a few people after listening to Rustom Patel. They will at least listen to him and respect to him that yes, this guy is really talking sense. It
Okay.
does make sense.
Hmm.
And I tell everybody, तेरे में जोर है ना, तू वर्ली से बॉम्बे सेंट्रल का रेस मत कर. वडाला में ट्रैक है मेरा, ये मेरा कार्ड है. I will see you on the track.
Okay.
They have never turned up because they know see, these are all racing on the street people.
Yeah.
There were two guys who yapped with me at Marine Drive after see, basically I ride very good looking bikes and racing bikes,
Yeah.
but I don't ride fast on the streets.
Yeah.
So two of these boys are looking at me on the signal and they're revving at me like boom, 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 thinking I'm going to be encouraged to race with them.
Hmm.
Signal became green. I still took a very slow start, how a usual normal person takes a start. I took a start. Those guys almost vanished 200 meters ahead of me, thinking that I'll race with them.
Yeah.
Again, they waited for me on the next signal and they're telling me on my face, अबे रेस लगाते हैं क्या, इतना अच्छा गाड़ी लेके घूमता है, रेस तो कर हम लोग के साथ.
Hmm.
So I told them, भैया एक काम करो, इतना ही रेसिंग का कीड़ा है ना आपको, तो एक ट्रैक है वडाला में, आप मुझे उधर ये टाइम पे ये डेट पे मिल लेना, आपकी जो भी औकात है ना औकात, उसको मैं दिखा दूंगा ट्रैक पे. Can you believe it? They actually came after 2 days. I gave them my cell phone number. They called me. हाँ कहाँ पे आने का, and also I gave them the address opposite IMAX and all that.
Wow.
I told them we will have a 10 lap race.
Okay.
No, the 10 laps is for Rustom Patel. For them, it was a 8 lap race.
Okay.
So in short, I was so confident without even looking at them right on the track that I will overlap them twice.
Okay.
But the rule was every single time I overlap you all, I'll slap you and go, or kick you and go. One of the two, either a tupply on the helmet when I overtake you, or a kick in your ribs, or kick on your bike, or kick on your thighs, or something like that.
Okay.
अरे ऐसा कैसा बात कर रहा है, ऐसा सीधी बात है, आप इतना बड़ा रेसर है, यू आर डूइंग मरीन ड्राइव टू वर्ली इन 3 minutes, you can definitely beat me. I am
Yeah.
to giving you 8 laps, I will ride 10 laps.
Okay.
Can you believe it? On the third lap, I overlapped both of them. I hit them both on the helmets. Okay. They felt so embarrassed in just 3 laps. They both stopped the bike and went away and ran away.
Wow.
They ran away from the track. They ran away after those fat I gave them on the helmet, no? Like it literally hurts when you got
Yeah. Yeah.
attack karke, when you give it no to somebody at that speed, it hurts.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? I overlapped both these lukhas on the third lap and they came to know their aukas where they actually belong on the track.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. ये लोग सब रास्ते के राजा है. They only act smart. They're jiggery people with no racing brains.
Yep.
They'll go between two taxis. They'll go between two buses. They'll cut, and do all that. But when it comes to racetrack, where are they?
Yep. Not nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
So this is what I say. You want to race? Boss, you come on track, na?
Yep.
Why do you want to race on the streets?
Agreed.
Hmm.
Rustam, changing gears, and you spoke about you giving up racing because you had a child. And by the way, boy or girl?
Girl. Named
Girl.
Fiona, Princess Fiona.
Fiona. Is she in riding as well? Because she has the racing blood too.
Nah.
No.
You don't know my wife. No. She's overprotective. She stopped me from racing. No chance she's like my daughter race.
Okay. Okay.
No.
So, but you went back into racing, and after 14 years, and
Yeah.
also talking about your mother when you were 6, your dad and your uncle giving you that bike. How was your mother feeling at that time, and how's your wife feeling? You going back again and saying, you want to race. How are those two important people in your life,
See,
took took
that's
that up?
an awesome question. That's an awesome question. You put me in a fix right now. I don't know if this interview is going to be heard by my wife or my daughter. I don't have an idea about this. But one thing for sure is that my mom was slightly a braver woman,
Okay.
or rather, I could use the word a choiceless woman.
Okay.
When the Patel men in the family decide, okay, my
Yeah.
son's going to be a racer, I don't see anybody arguing with my dad or my kaka. They were like the lions of the family.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were the
Yeah.
kings of the family. And whatever they said was like lakir. Like
Done.
it's like a judge's word, final verdict with those three thap thap thap,
Yeah.
order in the court. So if my dad says son's going to be a racer,
Mm.
nobody can argue with that.
Mm.
He has to be a racer. It was that type. So my mom was kind of little bit braver than my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom was also happy in a way that we are doing professional racing,
Yep.
wearing the right gear, racing on track, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't race on streets because this is what we were taught from our parents,
Yep.
never to race on streets. And you will see none of the Patels ride fast on streets ever.
Wow.
That's the basic rule since you were born. That's the thumb rule when you were born in a Patel family, never to ride fast on streets. You have the BALLS, come to the track. Simple. So this was the discipline. So my mom was a little brave and she got used to it with so many races and all. Obviously, we all have met with accidents. We all have cracked our bones, and also any mother would feel, very sad and very bad about it and get nervous about it.
Mm-hmm.
But dad was always like, chal, now just get recovered fast. The next month another race is coming up. Like there's such a big difference. And the other side, mama is giving me santra, apple. She's putting her hand on my hair and beta. Father just comes, chal, now just recover fast. We need to start practicing. And all she like, Kersi, he's just met with an accident. Arey, you just relax here. Chal, jaldi recover, sir. We have to start riding. So he was like North Pole, South Pole. Like my dad didn't give a shit even if we were hurt.
Yeah.
He was more concerned कि Baba, listen, all this happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we are racers, we do fall, and this is a dangerous spot, and we all know about it. Chal, abhi zyada natak nahi, hand is in the plaster, it's okay, nothing's hurting you. You will be fine within 15 days. So there was a huge difference between mummy and daddy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Daddy
Yeah.
was total hardcore. Like, you don't win a race, please don't come home, stay outside for 2 days. Yeah.
The
Straight up was
benchmark
like,
was like, okay, you have to be on the podium to take the
ha.
helmets.
No
Yeah.
podium, you can stay at your friend's house for 2 days. I'm like, Dad, that's really mean and bad. He's like, no, I don't care. If you don't come with a trophy, forget it. I'm like, okay, Dad. So yeah, obviously he was kidding. He was
Yeah.
never done that. He's never thrown us out. But
Yeah.
he's just a way of saying, like, you
Yep.
got to win and come. That type. So wife was opposite. Wife was also I would not address her as brave.
Mm-hmm.
No. She was never brave.
Yeah.
But she did accompany me in most of my races after marriage. Okay,
Nice.
like she said, I would get bored in the house. What would I do? Let me also come to Bangalore. Let me also come to Goa. So in a way, I should take my wife also with me.
Yep.
And she saw my really, really bad accident in Chennai. That's where she got scarkled.
Mm.
She was like in a deep shock, and like the accident happened in front of her eyes when a guy landed on my hand from like
Ouch.
25 feet in the air in Chennai.
Ouch.
Basically, I was leading the race. That guy was second, and just on the last lap, where the finish line, just about 200 meters, the finish line was there, and there was a bloody back marker between a double jump.
Oh.
So since I was ahead, I bloody saw him. I went to save his life by not taking that double, and at that double we were taking every lap. So
Okay.
I don't really blame the second guy also. He thought I'll take it in the last lap also.
Mm.
But I saw the overlapper. He didn't. So I braked to save that fellow's life. That fellow nicely rolled and he gingerly went out. So I had also no option but to save his life, not to jump. So I also braked on top of the mount and
Mm.
came down. And as soon as I came up on the mount, that guy was already in the air. Who?
Oh.
The second guy.
Wow.
And my wife was just 10 meters away from there. She was right there. And that guy lands on me with a motorcycle. A 120 kilo motorcycle with a 70 kilo man. 200 kilos landing on your hand from 20 feet. You can imagine what can happen to your hand. My
Mm.
hand was crushed
Ouch.
in front of my wife. She was in a shock. So by the way, in the heat of the race, he also felt bad. I also felt bad. But since I was riding a two-stroke, I picked up my bike and I started my bike in one kick. Okay, and without realizing that I've cracked my hand in pieces in that heat of the moment. When
Yeah.
you're in the
You have that
race and
rush. Yes.
you have that rush in you and that like
Yep.
5,000 people looking at your race. It's a all India race and just 200 meters, the finish line is there. And like you don't realize if you're really badly hurt, but you still want to finish the race.
Yep.
So I finished the race in first place, and the next only one thing I remember was there was a blackout in front of my eyes.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the next thing that I realized that I was in a very cold AC room without clothes.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, I was wearing a helmet, I was wearing boots, I was wearing racing clothes. Where are all of them?
Yeah.
Doctor very silently speaks in my ears, Beta, we have taken our scissors and we've cut it all. And they had all come from Italy 1 week ago.
Ouch.
Ha! It was a major ouch.
You're not
So,
worried about your hand, but you're worried about those clothes.
yeah, I was like, I told him on the operation bed, I told him on the operation bed, couldn't you remove it?
You could have woken me up. I would have easily removed it for you rather than cutting it off.
Was it so important to bloody cut it with a knife? He's like, are you okay in your head? We're trying to save your life and you're cribbing to us on operation theater for your clothes. I'm like, sir, you don't know where they come from.
Yeah. So,
He's like, okay,
how
now.
how did she feel you going back into this drag racing? You
Uh-huh.
getting
Uh-huh.
back on the saddle.
Yeah. Getting back on the saddle was, I'm telling you, this 1 week of practice that I did,
Yeah.
if I didn't do that, I don't think I would have made it.
Okay.
This 1 week of practice really helped me a lot.
Hmm.
Like, boss, I'm actually racing after 14 long years, yaar.
Yeah.
It's like a really long gap.
Yeah.
So, to be a racer, you have to be in constant touch with any sport, whether it's basketball, football,
Yeah.
tennis. You have to be in constant practice and constant touch. So, my only good thing was I was a coach.
Yeah.
So, every single time I used to teach my boys, I used to also ride, na?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that 14 years I've been rideless.
Yeah.
I have been riding throughout the 14 years, but not professional riding or racing.
Yeah.
It was the teaching riding racing.
Hmm.
So getting back on the saddle after 14 years, yes, my heartbeat was definitely in my mouth when I was touching 200 plus speeds in practice also. Because I've never done that, no.
Hmm.
I've always been a motocrosser.
Yeah.
I've never seen high speeds ever,
Yeah.
except sitting in somebody's car and that guy zipping it, and me being in the car and seeing 220, 240, 260. I've seen those speeds in a car.
Yeah.
But I've never seen such things or never felt such high speeds on a motorcycle. So, it was like a different feel for me.
Hmm.
But I have gone through so many accidents and I've gone through so much of thing in my life that there is nothing like fear left in me when it comes to racing or bikes. Like, if you tell me to touch 300, 350, I'll do that also. You give me a bike and track, I'll do it. Like,
Beautiful.
there is nothing like fear left in me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rustam, hearing your story, uh, if I have to sum it up, you if you're passionate about something, and I can see that passion in the blood, not just in
Yeah.
the head. uh, there are things which allow you to make things happen, and that passion which your father had, your uncle had, and your brothers have towards racing got you where you are. And it it didn't, even when you wanted to retire, you retired, but you didn't take yourself away from it. And when
Yeah.
you came back with a bang. But something which you also kind of pass a message to many of us, like you're never too old for many things.
Yeah. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number, and actually the bike doesn't know your age also. So you and the race doesn't know your age also. So
Yeah.
it's all in your head. So this entire conversation has been fun, interesting, and I'm sure there's a lot of those moments of learning for many of my listeners, because that's what this entire podcast is all about, to share those learnings from your career. But before we part ways, I know you have subtly passed a message to many riders, whether they are professional or they're street bikers, as you said. What's
Hmm.
If somebody wants to build a career in motocross today, what would your advice be to them?
Well, my advice to them, if they want to make motocross as their career, is please have a lot of money, first of all.
Hmm.
It is a very, 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 very expensive sport,
Hmm.
extremely expensive sport. It requires more than 100% dedication, right from your fitness to your training, to your tuning, to your biking, to your practice tracks, to your dedication. See, basically, what happens is I have raced internationally, I've trained internationally, I've been in California for 4 months. I've been in Belgium, Spain for three months.
Nice.
And there is such a huge difference between international and India.
Yeah.
Like over there, the kids don't even go to school, or the guys who ride, they don't even go to office like how we go for a job from 9 to 5 and then take one day off just to practice motocross. These guys don't do that. So whenever I go abroad, I not only train but I also talk to a lot of international athletes, and I tell them that, dude, I see you here for the last 2 months and you're a school kid. Don't you have to go to school?
Mm.
So in reply, I get, hey, we don't go to school, physical school, we do homeschool.
Nice.
Now, what the hell is homeschool? Like
Yeah.
in India, we have to bloody go to St. Mary's or St. Peter's
Yeah.
from morning 9 to bloody 3:30,
Yeah.
listening to different teachers getting slapped if you don't do your homework, getting punished. And then if you have that half an hour, go and ride in that Mazgaon ka gully. That is
Yeah.
all what we had. But over here, the kids don't even go to freaking school. They do
Yep.
homeschool.
Yep.
And they are like morning to evening, they only race, 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 practice, 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 fitness, fitness, fitness. So obviously, when your entire life rotates only about that, obviously those foreigners are faster to Indians because of that reason, right?
Yep.
So, and plus they have like 60, 70 tracks in the entire country.
Mm.
In India, we hardly have 2 dedicated tracks, and that too not given by the government. It is our private track. One is in Kolhapur and one is at Kamshet, and that one Kamshet one is our track
Oh, wow.
that Mr. Atul Ajmera has built.
Wow.
So, we Indians really, really go through a lot of pain when it comes to facility, spare parts, availability of the bike,
Yeah.
and so many other things, like it's so much of dedication. So my advice to youngsters would be, only if you are financially sound, please enter motocross racing, because it's a very, very expensive sport. And if you don't have the right money, please do not enter the sport. I would not like to misguide anybody or any person who is really talented and who wants to be in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if he comes from middle class family, he can race with whatever bike he has, but he can only do local races that happen here and there, like Thane, Mumbai, Wadala, or that sort.
Yep.
But if a race is happening in Chennai or a Delhi or a Goa,
Yep.
boss, you need nothing less than 60 to 70,000 rupees just to enter that one race in Delhi
Wow.
or Chennai. Your travel, your bike will go by Khati, you have to pack the bike, you will go, your mechanic will go with spare parts, you will stay for 3 days in a hotel, you'll eat food, then you'll come back, then entry fee, a spare part list. So you should catch somewhere close to 60, 70,000 rupees per race.
Wow.
So that's expensive, trust me.
It is.
Yeah. So not everybody can afford it. Yes, if you have the money and if you have the passion, you can enter motorbike racing at a national level. Work hard, and I am there to train anybody and everybody who's there. I am always there. I train at the Ajmera property at Wadala opposite IMAX.
Hmm.
If anybody wants to train anytime, all you have to do is just give me a call. I'll let you know the details, and there we go. We train on a proper racetrack. So please say no to racing. Always wear a helmet. And if you ever want to fulfill your racing dreams, please contact Rustom Patel.
Beautiful. Thank you for that message, Rustam. This has been a lovely conversation. And
Thank you
every
so
word
much.
when you spoke, it was almost picturesque. I could see it with my eyes even open. So thank you for this time and thank you for the conversation. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck
Thank
for the national championship, which you would be going for.
Yeah, I'm all charged up. I'm all like, I don't know. I feel so young. I suddenly feel I'm 21 now.
Likewise, and I'm sure you will always be 21 and be that
I
young
hope
kid
so.
who rode his first race in that small dinky dandy bike. So best of luck and
Thank you.
stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anis. It was really nice talking to you, and I hope my message is spread across everywhere. Please say no to street racing. Please.
Definitely.
Yes. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening in. and we close yet another episode of Masters Decoded. If you've enjoyed the episode, please, you can help us out by sharing it on social media. I would personally appreciate that. It's how we can reach more listeners, and the more listeners we have, the more awesome guests I can get in touch and convince to participate in these conversations that are a joy to have for me, and I hope they are a joy for you to listen as well. You can also help a lot leaving reviews on iTunes or your podcast service of choice. Reviews are surprisingly helpful in supporting the podcast to get to more listeners. If this episode has intrigued you, I would request you to subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date and get notified to the future episodes. With that, I bid you and see you in the next episode.